Welcome, dear friends and fellow lovers of literature and film, to a space where stories unfold not just as entertainment, but as intricate tapestries woven with symbolism, history, and deep human truths. If you find yourself drawn to the art of cinema as a vessel for intellectual exploration, where each frame invites contemplation and every narrative thread holds a mirror to culture and psyche, then you're exactly where you want to be. And if you enjoy these journeys as much as I do, I hope you'll join this community by liking and subscribing, not because it's expected, but because there's a wealth of stories waiting to be uncovered, and it's a joy to explore them together. Before we set off, a small but important note. What follows isn't your typical review. This is a deeply intellectual, theoretical, and critical analysis, designed primarily for those with a literary and scholarly background who appreciate film as a medium rich with meaning and cultural resonance. Our goal is education and insight, to delve beneath surface spectacle and discover the themes, symbols, and cinematic choices that shape the narrative's soul. The film in focus invites us into a world that is at once fantastical and profoundly rooted in timeless myth. It retells an age-old tale with a modern twist, a story of giants and men, castles and kingdoms, courage and transformation. This narrative has long fascinated cultures across the globe, a fable of scale and power, where the small confront the colossal and where the boundaries between worlds blur. It's a tale that touches on universal human concerns, the confrontation with the unknown, the journey toward maturity, and the complex dance between destiny and choice. What draws me personally to this story is its layered interplay between innocence and experience, its exploration of how myths evolve and resonate in contemporary contexts. Watching it, I'm reminded of the stories I grew up with, fairy tales whispered on rainy afternoons, legends that both comforted and challenged. There's a kind of childhood nostalgia wrapped in the spectacle, but beneath it pulses a more mature meditation on heroism, power, and the responsibilities that come with both. It echoes my own experiences navigating worlds that often feel too large, where courage must be summoned not just in grand gestures, but in quiet moments of resolve. The film opens in a kingdom where ancient magic slumbers beneath the surface, a magic tethered to the giants of legend. Our protagonist, a young and spirited man, stumbles upon a path that leads beyond the mundane world into realms of wonder and peril. The narrative follows his quest, which is as much about personal growth as it is about saving a kingdom from devastation. Alongside allies, some unexpected, some steadfast, he faces trials that test not only his strength but his heart and mind. This story's core is its tension between the human and the mythic. The giants, towering and fearsome, are not mere monsters, but beings with their own histories and motivations. The film complicates the classic tale by imbuing these creatures with layers of character and context, blurring the lines between heroism and villainy. This ambiguity invites viewers to question assumptions about power, otherness, and the nature of conflict. Visually, the film is a feast, spectacular landscapes, towering castles, and colossal battles that immerse the audience in a world both wondrous and dangerous. The use of CGI and practical effects crafts an experience that is both visceral and magical, allowing the impossible to feel tangible. Yet beneath the dazzling surface lies a narrative structure that honors mythic archetypes while inviting contemporary reflection. Key plot twists punctuate the story, each revealing new facets of character and theme. Betrayals and alliances shift the narrative's direction, challenging the protagonist's understanding of loyalty and destiny. Moments of revelation deepen the emotional stakes, weaving personal histories into the grand tapestry of the unfolding epic. As we journey through this analysis, we will unpack these elements, the characters' arcs, the thematic currents, the cinematic techniques, that elevate the film from mere fantasy spectacle to a rich text worthy of thoughtful engagement. This is a story about giants, yes, but also about the giants within ourselves, our fears, hopes, and the courage to face both. Thank you for embarking on this exploration with me. Together, let's delve into the myths, the meaning, and the magic of this cinematic world, uncovering the layers that make it resonate so deeply across time and imagination. There's a particular kind of magic in how a story unfolds, gradually, inviting you deeper with each moment, each revelation. This film begins by drawing us into a world that feels both familiar and fantastical, a place where the ordinary teeters on the brink of the extraordinary. The narrative opens amid the cobblestone streets and misty fields of a medieval kingdom, a realm shadowed by legends whispered across generations. It is here, amidst the everyday lives of villagers and nobles, that the seeds of adventure are quietly sown. The protagonist enters the scene not as a destined hero, but as a curious and restless youth, someone whose dreams and desires stretch beyond the confines of his small world. He carries the weight of loss and longing, his father missing, presumed dead, a figure both revered and mysterious. This absence shapes his identity, coloring his actions with a mix of yearning and determination. Early scenes reveal a young man both eager for purpose and burdened by uncertainty, a duality that grounds his journey in human reality. The kingdom itself is a character in this opening act, a place of beauty and danger, where sprawling fields meet towering stone castles, and where the threat of war and the promise of magic intertwine. Villagers labor under the gaze of their lord, while rumors of giants from ancient tales circulate, stirring both fear and fascination. The atmosphere is rich with texture. The clatter of marketplace stalls, the flicker of torchlight in darkened halls, the distant echo of bells calling to arms. These details build a world that feels lived in, a setting ripe for transformation. Central to this unfolding is the discovery of the mysterious beanstalk, a literal and symbolic bridge between worlds. Its sudden appearance disrupts the familiar landscape, a verdant giant stretching into the heavens and beyond known reality. This moment marks the inciting event, a catalyst that propels the protagonist and those around him into a new realm of possibility and peril. The beanstalk is both a marvel and a challenge, a stairway to a domain where legends walk and danger lurks. As the story progresses, the protagonist's relationship with the world shifts. He becomes entangled in political intrigues and ancient rivalries, where alliances are forged and tested. The introduction of the princess, a figure of both grace and agency, adds depth and complexity. She is no mere damsel but a character of strength and resolve, whose motivations intersect and sometimes conflict with the hero's. Their evolving connection grounds the high fantasy in relatable human emotion. The kingdom's rulers, noble, ambitious, and wary, navigate their own struggles. Their decisions ripple through the narrative, shaping the fates of many. The court scenes reveal layers of power dynamics and hidden agendas, underscoring the tension between personal desire and duty. These political undercurrents enrich the story, situating the fantastical adventure within a web of real human stakes. A key development is the protagonist's ascent of the beanstalk, a literal journey upward that mirrors his internal transformation. This climb is fraught with wonder and danger, each step revealing new challenges and revelations. The giants who dwell above are introduced with grandeur and menace, their immense scale underscoring the peril. Yet, they are portrayed with nuance, hinting at complex motivations rather than simple villainy. Throughout this first half, the film balances moments of high adventure with quieter character exploration. Scenes of camaraderie among companions offer levity and warmth, while moments of reflection reveal fears and hopes. The pacing allows the story to breathe, giving viewers space to connect with characters and absorb the unfolding world. Visual storytelling is rich and layered. Cinematography captures the contrast between the earthy tones of the village and the vibrant, surreal colors of the giant's realm. Lighting shifts with mood, from golden sunlight illuminating fields to the eerie glow of the giant's castle, crafting an immersive sensory experience. Symbolism begins to weave subtly through imagery. The beanstalk as a bridge between worlds, the sword as a symbol of destiny, and the giants as embodiments of ancient power. The film also introduces hints of mystery and foreshadowing. Whispers of ancient curses, lost legacies, and the true nature of the giants permeate the dialogue and setting. These narrative threads invite viewers to anticipate revelations and deepen engagement. Conflict intensifies as the protagonist and his allies confront dangers both physical and moral. Battles and escapes test their courage and wit, while betrayals and sacrifices complicate loyalties. These events are staged with a blend of spectacle and emotional resonance, ensuring that action serves character and theme. Relationships evolve under pressure. The bond between hero and princess grows, marked by moments of trust and tension. Friendships are forged in adversity, while enmities deepen, setting the stage for future confrontations. These interpersonal dynamics add richness to the narrative tapestry. As the first act draws to a close, the stakes rise. The protagonist emerges transformed, not yet the hero of legend, but a young man stepping into a larger destiny. The world around him has shifted irrevocably, opening doors to adventure, challenge, and self-discovery. This opening segment is a masterful blend of myth and humanity, spectacle and subtlety. It invites viewers not only to witness, but to inhabit a world where giants walk and ordinary lives are touched by the extraordinary. Through its detailed plot developments and vivid settings, the film lays a foundation for a story that is as much about the heart as it is about the legend, setting the stage for a journey that will explore the heights of courage and the depths of sacrifice. The story intensifies as the narrative ascends into realms both literal and metaphorical, where stakes grow heavier and the boundaries between heroism and sacrifice blur with breathtaking complexity. What began as a young man's tentative step into a world of wonder now evolves into a crucible of courage, choice, and consequence. The second act of the journey propels us deeper into the labyrinth of the giant's domain, unfolding layers of conflict and revelation that test the very essence of the characters and the world they inhabit. As the protagonist ventures upward along the towering beanstalk, the world above reveals itself not just as a place of immense scale, but as a landscape imbued with history and tension. The giants, monumental, fierce, yet not devoid of their own intricate motivations, are no mere antagonists but keepers of an ancient order, their legacy intertwined with the fate of kingdoms below. The film invites us to view them through a lens of complexity, challenging the simplistic dichotomy of hero and villain. This realm is suffused with grandeur and danger. Massive halls echo with the weight of time, forests of colossal trees sway with secrets, and vast chasms plunge into shadows that hint at hidden perils. The cinematography here shifts, embracing sweeping wide shots that dwarf human figures and intimate close-ups that reveal vulnerability and determination. The scale itself becomes a character, shaping the emotional texture of the story. The protagonist's encounters with the giants are charged with a blend of fear, fascination, and moral ambiguity. Rather than quick violence, the narrative dwells on negotiation, misunderstanding, and the tragic consequences of ancient grievances. These interactions deepen the thematic richness, exploring ideas of coexistence, power, and the costs of vengeance. Tensions escalate as alliances among humans are tested. The court below grapples with political intrigue and looming threats, where ambitions and fears collide. The princess emerges as a formidable presence, navigating her own challenges with grace and strength, embodying a blend of tradition and agency. Her evolving role shifts the narrative's emotional center, enriching the tapestry of relationships and motivations. Key plot twists unravel with dramatic impact. The revelation of hidden betrayals and long-concealed secrets upends trust, forcing characters to reevaluate loyalties and confront painful truths. These moments are rendered with emotional depth and narrative precision, ensuring that surprises serve character development and thematic exploration rather than mere shock. The film's action sequences build toward a crescendo of conflict and catharsis. Battles between humans and giants are choreographed with kinetic energy and symbolic weight. Each clash resonates with the characters, internal struggles, and the broader themes of justice and reconciliation. The visuals balance spectacle with intimacy, capturing the raw physicality of combat alongside moments of personal heroism and sacrifice. Amid the chaos, the narrative weaves moments of tenderness and reflection. Relationships are tested, strengthened, or shattered, revealing the complexities of love, loyalty, and forgiveness. The protagonist's personal growth is intertwined with these dynamics, grounding the epic scale in human emotion. Symbolism intensifies in the unfolding drama. The sword, once a symbol of destiny and power, becomes a beacon of hope and responsibility. Fire and water motifs recur, marking transformation and renewal amid destruction. The interplay of light and shadow continues to articulate the moral ambiguities that challenge characters and viewers alike. The climax brings the protagonist to a decisive confrontation, physical, emotional, and spiritual. This moment crystallizes the themes that have percolated throughout the narrative. The price of courage, the necessity of choice, and the possibility of redemption. The confrontation is crafted with narrative finesse, avoiding simplistic resolutions in favor of nuanced truth. The resolution offers a bittersweet closure. Victories are tempered by loss, futures are uncertain yet hopeful. The film closes with imagery that suggests continuity and renewal, the rising sun casting long shadows, rivers flowing toward unseen horizons, and figures standing poised between past and future. These images invite reflection on the cyclical nature of history and the enduring quest for meaning. Throughout this unfolding, the film maintains a delicate balance between the mythic and the personal, the grand and the intimate. The second act's pacing weaves tension and release, action and contemplation, drawing viewers into a fully realized world where the stakes are as much about heart and identity as about kingdoms and giants. Editing and sound design enhance this experience, guiding emotional rhythm and deepening immersion. Music motifs evolve with the story, blending traditional elements with orchestral flourishes that underscore shifts in mood and theme. Ambient sounds anchor the narrative in place and time, while silence punctuates moments of reflection and tension. Audience responses to this segment often highlight its emotional depth and thematic sophistication. Viewers find themselves moved not only by spectacle, but by the story's exploration of complex moral landscapes and human resilience. The film's refusal to offer tidy answers invites ongoing discussion and contemplation. In essence, this portion of the story is a powerful meditation on transformation and reckoning. It challenges us to consider the costs and possibilities of heroism, the shadows within light, and the ways history shapes and is shaped by those who dare to confront it. The journey concludes not with finality, but with a beginning, a call to carry forward the legacy, courage, and hope that pulse at the heart of the tale. In the rich tapestry of this narrative, characters emerge not as mere players advancing a plot, but as deeply layered beings whose journeys and transformations pulse with complexity and resonance. They embody the themes and conflicts that give the story its heart, inviting us to explore not only their external adventures but their internal landscapes, those intimate struggles, desires, and contradictions that make them profoundly human, even amid mythic grandeur. This film's character architecture is crafted with care and nuance, offering a gallery of personalities that illuminate the film's emotional and philosophical core. At the story's center stands the protagonist, a young man shaped by absence and longing, yet marked by a spark of courage and curiosity that propels him beyond the boundaries of his familiar world. His journey from uncertainty to self-realization unfolds with authenticity, revealing a character whose strength is as much moral and emotional as it is physical. Early scenes portray him grappling with the legacy of his missing father, a figure both idealized and shrouded in mystery. This duality fuels his motivations and colors his worldview, infusing his actions with a blend of hope and desperation. The actor's portrayal captures this tension with subtlety. Moments of doubt flicker across his face alongside bursts of determination, crafting a character who feels accessible and relatable despite the epic scale of his journey. His interactions, whether tender with allies or tense with foes, reveal layers of vulnerability and resolve, inviting viewers to accompany him not only through external trials but internal reckonings. The princess serves as a compelling counterpart and catalyst within the narrative. Far from a passive figure, she embodies agency, intellect, and resilience. Her motivations are intricately woven into the political and emotional fabric of the story, positioning her as both a participant and a symbol. She challenges traditional damsel archetypes, navigating the constraints of her role with sharp insight and quiet strength. Their evolving relationship adds depth, fraught with tension and mutual growth, reflecting the complexities of partnership and leadership. The antagonist emerges as one of the film's most compelling and nuanced characters. Rather than a monolithic embodiment of evil, this figure is imbued with a tragic dimension, shaped by loss, grievance, and a vision of justice that clashes with the protagonist's ideals. Their backstory reveals wounds that humanize and complicate their motivations, blurring the lines between right and wrong. This portrayal invites viewers to grapple with moral ambiguity, fostering empathy without condoning actions. The antagonist's presence is a mirror, reflecting the film's exploration of power, resistance, and the consequences of conflict. Supporting characters add richness and texture to the narrative. Loyal friends, skeptical elders, and wary courtiers populate the world, each contributing their own perspectives and arcs. These roles are carefully balanced to avoid caricature, offering nuanced portrayals that reflect the diversity and complexity of human nature. Their interactions with the protagonist highlight themes of trust, betrayal, and communal responsibility. The dynamic between characters often hinges on the negotiation of loyalty and identity. Friendships are tested under pressure. Alliances shift in the face of competing interests. The film explores how personal relationships are entangled with political and cultural forces, creating a web of connection and conflict that propels character growth. These interpersonal dynamics are portrayed with emotional honesty, revealing the fragility and strength of human bonds. Symbolism permeates character development. The protagonist's sword is not only a weapon, but an extension of his evolving identity and responsibility. His forging of the blade parallels his own shaping under trial. The princess's attire and demeanor reflect her dual roles as tradition bearer and change agent. The antagonist's imposing stature and marked scars serve as visual metaphors for the burdens carried and the battles fought, both literal and psychological. Visual storytelling enhances character complexity. Costuming draws from cultural motifs and narrative symbolism, marking status, transformation, and allegiance. Facial expressions and body language are captured with care, conveying unspoken emotions and shifting power dynamics. Voice acting brings an additional layer of nuance, with tonal shifts and cadence revealing inner turmoil or resolve. Character arcs resist simplistic resolutions. Growth is portrayed as ongoing and fraught with tension. The protagonist's journey concludes not with absolute triumph, but with a tempered understanding of the costs and ambiguities of heroism. The antagonist's fate remains open-ended, inviting reflection on mercy, justice, and reconciliation. Supporting characters find their own moments of closure or continuation, reflecting the narrative's commitment to complexity. The film's ensemble reflects broader cultural and thematic concerns, embodying questions of heritage, change, and identity. Through their stories, the film meditates on the negotiation between past and present, individual and community, power and humility. Ultimately, these richly drawn characters invite us to inhabit a world where myth and humanity converge, a place where stories are not merely told, but lived through the textures of heart and history. Their struggles, choices, and transformations resonate because they mirror the complexities within ourselves, fragile, courageous, flawed, and endlessly evolving. There's a unique kind of enchantment that arises when you peel back the layers of a film's creation, the stories that live in the spaces between takes, the unexpected moments that challenge or inspire, and the quirky details that don't make it to the credits, but infuse the entire production with character and life. The making of this film is rich with such tales, a mosaic of creativity, mishaps, dedication, and serendipity that together reveal the beating heart behind the spectacle. These strangest facts and behind-the-scenes anecdotes illuminate the artistry and humanity that breathe life into the cinematic world we experience on screen. One of the most fascinating aspects of the production was its effort to blend cutting-edge visual effects with practical, tangible artistry. The iconic beanstalk, a towering presence that bridges worlds, was crafted using a combination of CGI and intricate physical models. The visual effects team faced a monumental challenge in creating a structure that felt both massive and organic, something that could be both a living entity and a believable physical object. Early tests showed the digital beanstalk appearing too smooth and artificial, so artists began experimenting by integrating real vines, moss, and bark textures captured from ancient forests. This blend of real-world elements with computer-generated imagery gave the beanstalk a tactile presence that captivated audiences and became a visual marvel. Behind the scenes, this fusion required close collaboration between animators, set designers, and even botanists who consulted on the growth patterns of vines and plants. The level of detail was astonishing. Tiny insects and dewdrops were added to heighten realism. During one shoot, the physical model's size and complexity posed logistical puzzles, with crew members navigating tight spaces and precarious scaffolding, creating an atmosphere of adventure even off-screen. Another surprising story centers on the sword, the film's symbol of destiny and power. To achieve the gleaming, mystical effect of the blade, the prop department experimented with various materials and lighting techniques. They tried everything from polished metals to layered glass composites. A breakthrough came when a prop master discovered an old technique involving thin layers of translucent resin with embedded reflective flakes, illuminated by carefully positioned lights. The sword's glow was enhanced in post-production, but the physical prop's craftsmanship became a point of pride and fascination for cast and crew alike. On set, actors reported feeling a different kind of connection holding the sword, as if the prop's aura lent weight to their performances. Voice recording sessions revealed moments of unexpected emotion and camaraderie. The lead actor, initially hesitant about voice acting, found his stride during group recordings, where scenes were performed live among the cast. In one session, a burst of genuine laughter during a tense scene broke the atmosphere, creating a ripple of lightness that reminded everyone of the joy behind the craft. Rather than editing it out, the director chose to preserve the moment, believing it added authenticity and humanity. The sound design team faced adventures of their own, capturing ambient sounds to evoke the film's rich world. Field recordings were taken from diverse locations, forests, rivers, and bustling market streets. On one expedition, a recording session was playfully interrupted by a troop of monkeys whose curious chatter and mimicry became a charming motif woven subtly into forest scenes. This unexpected guest performance added a layer of whimsy and realism, highlighting the unpredictability of working with natural environments. Choreographing the film's action sequences involved an unusual blend of martial arts experts and traditional dancers. The fight scenes drew inspiration from a fusion of fencing, Filipino martial arts, and ritual dance, creating a movement vocabulary both dynamic and culturally resonant. During rehearsals, a stunt performer accidentally slipped while attempting a spinning attack, landing in a move that was visually arresting. The choreographer immediately incorporated the accidental spin into the routine, and it quickly became a signature move celebrated by fans and cast alike. Casting held its own surprises. A supporting actor who auditioned for a minor part impressed the creative team so profoundly with his emotional range and physicality that his role was expanded, adding new layers to the story. His journey from background player to key figure became a beloved, rags-to-riches story within the production community, inspiring others to embrace opportunities and growth. The production schedule was repeatedly challenged by unpredictable weather. Outdoor shoots coincided with a notoriously rainy season, forcing creative problem-solving. On one critical day, an anticipated sunset scene was nearly lost to storm clouds. Rather than reschedule, the crew embraced the rain, filming the scene with glistening wet costumes and misty air. The resulting footage carried a haunting beauty and emotional depth that exceeded original expectations. This adaptability became emblematic of the production's spirit. Costume designers took pride in their meticulous work, sourcing authentic fabrics and collaborating with local artisans. During fittings, they discovered natural dyes that produced iridescent effects when exposed to sunlight, lending the protagonist's outfit a shimmering quality that symbolized transformation. This serendipitous find was woven into the costume's design, enhancing both visual appeal and narrative symbolism. Post-production was not without drama. A major software update during editing caused temporary data corruption, scrambling critical sequences. The editing team rallied, working extended hours to recover and reassemble footage. These late nights became moments of solidarity and creative brainstorming, with music, snacks, and shared determination fueling progress. Music composition sessions were vibrant and collaborative. The composer, blending traditional instruments with cinematic orchestration, fostered an atmosphere of experimentation. Musicians exchanged stories of cultural heritage and improvisation, enriching the score with authenticity and emotion. Occasionally, playful jams broke out, reminding everyone that even intense creative work is nourished by joy. Marketing embraced interactive elements to engage fans. An alternate reality game invited audiences to solve puzzles linked to the film's mythology, unlocking exclusive content and deepening connection. Cast and crew participated in live Q and as and behind-the-scenes reveals, cultivating a passionate global community. Throughout production, the atmosphere was marked by mutual respect, warmth, and shared purpose. Cast and crew exchanged encouragement and humor, fostering an environment where creativity thrived. Moments of vulnerability and triumph were woven into the fabric of daily work, humanizing the cinematic endeavor. Years later, the film's legacy continues through educational programs and fan communities that celebrate these stories. Members of the production team share their experiences, inspiring new generations of creators and audiences. These strangest facts and untold tales remind us that filmmaking is a living, breathing process, a dance of artistry, chance, and collaboration. Behind every frame lies a mosaic of laughter, sweat, discovery, and passion, making the magic on screen all the more extraordinary and alive. There is a distinct power in those moments of a film that stand as pivotal junctures, events that ripple through the narrative, not merely advancing the plot but crystallizing themes, evoking deep emotional responses, and inviting critical reflection. These significant scenes, layered with complexity and intention, form the backbone of the cinematic experience, shaping how the audience perceives and internalizes the story. In this film, such events are crafted with a meticulous blend of spectacle and subtlety, serving as fulcrums upon which the narrative's emotional and thematic weight rests. One of the earliest of these critical moments is the forging of the sword, a scene that transcends mere action to become a symbolic act of creation, transformation, and destiny. The rhythm of hammers striking metal, the sparks flying into the dim light, and the gradual emergence of the blade are imbued with ritualistic significance. From a critical perspective, this act embodies the film's exploration of identity formation and the melding of human will with ancestral legacy. The sword is a tangible manifestation of the protagonist's evolving role, a symbol of responsibility, power, and the burdens that accompany both. Cinematically, the scene employs close-up shots and lingering visuals that draw viewers into this intimate yet monumental moment, making the forging feel both personal and epic. The portrayal of the antagonist offers a rich terrain for analysis. Rather than a simplistic villain, the character is rendered with layers of motivation and conflict. Their backstory, revealed gradually through flashbacks and dialogue, paints a portrait of a figure shaped by loss, injustice, and a desire for reclamation. This complexity challenges traditional dichotomies of good and evil, inviting viewers to consider the nuances of power, revenge, and ideology. The antagonist's actions, while often brutal, are framed within a context that evokes empathy and critical questioning of systemic forces. This approach enriches the narrative, positioning conflict not as a binary, but as a spectrum of human experience and moral ambiguity. A turning point in the film occurs with the antagonist's incursion into the protagonist's homeland, a scene laden with tension and symbolic resonance. The cinematography here shifts to convey the disruption of peace and the intrusion of chaos, employing stark contrasts of light and shadow, tight framing to evoke claustrophobia, and dynamic camera movements that heighten unease. This invasion acts as a narrative and thematic catalyst, forcing characters to confront unresolved histories and catalyzing the film's central conflicts. Critics have noted how this event encapsulates broader themes of colonialism, cultural clash, and resistance, positioning the story within a discourse on historical trauma and reclamation. The climactic battles that follow are remarkable not only for their visceral spectacle, but for their symbolic depth. The choreography balances raw physicality with ritualistic elements, transforming combat into a dialogue between tradition and change, individual and community. The protagonist and antagonist's duel is staged as a convergence of personal and political struggles, where every strike and parry carries emotional and thematic weight. Cinematographic choices, alternating sweeping shots that capture scale with intimate close-ups, underscore the stakes and human cost. Sound design amplifies the tension, layering the clash of weapons with thematic motifs that evoke ancestral memory and destiny. Another significant event is the protagonist's encounter with ancestral spirits, a scene that transcends narrative realism to enter the realm of myth and memory. Visually, it is distinct, employing ethereal lighting, symbolic imagery, and fluid editing to create a dreamlike atmosphere. This sequence serves as a moment of introspection and guidance, situating the protagonist within a lineage that spans generations. Thematically, it underscores the film's engagement with cultural continuity, identity, and the dialogic nature of history. Critics have praised this scene for its poetic resonance and its ability to evoke a spiritual dimension rarely captured in mainstream fantasy cinema. Ritual and community gatherings punctuate the narrative, providing immersive depictions of cultural practices that root the story in lived experience. These scenes are vibrant, layered with color, sound, and movement, portraying ceremonies that bind characters and communities. From a critical standpoint, they affirm the film's commitment to authenticity and cultural specificity, highlighting the role of tradition in sustaining identity amidst upheaval. The communal aspects contrast with individual struggles, emphasizing interconnectedness and collective resilience. Interpersonal dynamics offer further depth. Betrayals and reconciliations are portrayed with emotional nuance, revealing the fragility and strength of human relationships. The protagonist's navigation of trust and doubt adds realism and complexity, illustrating that heroism and leadership are entwined with relational challenges. Subtle performances and restrained dialogue convey these tensions, inviting viewers to engage empathetically and reflectively. The film's resolution stands out for its refusal to offer simplistic closure. Victories are tempered by loss, peace by fragility. The final imagery, rising suns, flowing rivers, open horizons, speaks to cycles of history, renewal, and hope without erasing the scars of conflict. This nuanced ending invites contemplation on justice, healing, and the ongoing nature of transformation. Visual and auditory artistry amplify these critical moments. The interplay of light and shadow, color grading, and composition reinforce thematic contrasts and emotional undertones. Musical motifs evolve with the narrative, weaving cultural instruments with orchestral arrangements that underscore mood and character. The soundscape immerses viewers, grounding fantastical elements in sensory reality. Audience reception has reflected the power of these scenes. Many viewers express deep emotional connection, noting how the film's complexity and cultural richness invite repeated viewing and discussion. Critical acclaim often highlights the film's moral ambiguity and aesthetic ambition, praising its blend of spectacle and substance. Within scholarly and fan communities, these events serve as focal points for analysis and debate, enriching the film's legacy. They illustrate cinema's potential to engage with history, culture, and identity in ways that transcend entertainment. In sum, the film's significant events are not isolated spectacles, but integral expressions of its thematic and emotional heart. They invite viewers into a layered world that challenges, moves, and inspires, a testament to storytelling's enduring power to illuminate the human condition through the lens of myth and memory. There's a certain magic that resides not only in the story a film tells but in the story of how it was made. The journey from script to screen, the countless decisions, the unforeseen challenges, and the moments of inspiration that turn vision into reality. This film's production is a treasure trove of such tales, rich with creativity, perseverance, and the kind of serendipitous occurrences that remind us filmmaking is a deeply human endeavor. Peeling back the curtain, we discover a vibrant tapestry woven from technical innovation, artistic passion, and the camaraderie that only emerges when people come together in pursuit of a shared dream. From the earliest days of development, the filmmakers committed themselves to honoring the source material while pushing the boundaries of visual storytelling. Pre-production involved extensive research into the mythological and cultural roots of the story, with consultants brought in to ensure authenticity and depth. This commitment influenced every facet, from costume design and set construction to the narrative's thematic layering. Designers studied ancient art and folklore, infusing the film's aesthetic with motifs that subtly reinforced its cultural textures. One of the most fascinating aspects of the production was the crafting of the film's iconic set pieces, particularly the towering beanstalk itself. Creating a believable and awe-inspiring giant plant that physically connects two worlds was a daunting challenge. The art department employed a mix of practical effects, intricate scale models, and cutting-edge CGI to bring it to life. To capture the organic feel, the team studied real vines and plant structures, even consulting botanists. Early versions of the digital beanstalk appeared too smooth and artificial, prompting artists to integrate real-world textures and imperfections. This fusion of nature and technology resulted in a visual marvel that anchors the fantasy in tangible reality. The visual effects team faced numerous technical hurdles. For instance, achieving the giant's immense scale while maintaining fluid and expressive motion required innovative animation techniques. Motion capture sessions were complemented by traditional animation to balance realism with stylized movement. Interestingly, the animators borrowed elements from both human and animal behaviors to give the giant's life and personality. One animator noted that watching elephants and gorillas informed their understanding of mass and weight, lending authenticity to the giant's presence. On set, the practical effects team created physical props and partial set pieces that actors could interact with, helping ground performances. The forging of the sword, a pivotal moment, was filmed with a combination of real blacksmithing and visual effects enhancement. The clang of hammer on metal was recorded live, imbuing the scene with visceral energy. Cast members participated in workshops to familiarize themselves with the tools and techniques, deepening their connection to their characters, crafts, and challenges. Voice recording sessions revealed the importance of collaboration and spontaneity. The lead actor, relatively new to voice work, was encouraged by the director to explore improvisation. In one memorable session, a moment of unscripted laughter lightened an intense scene, and the director opted to keep it, valuing authenticity over polish. These recordings often took place with multiple actors together, fostering chemistry and natural dialogue flow. The sound department went to great lengths to craft an immersive auditory landscape. Field recordings were taken from diverse environments, lush forests, rushing rivers, and lively markets, to layer textures into the soundscape. During one forest recording session, a group of curious monkeys began mimicking the crew's movements and calls, their playful chatter later woven subtly into several scenes, adding life and charm. Choreographing the film's action sequences combined traditional martial arts experts with cultural consultants to ensure authenticity and style. Rehearsals were intense and meticulous, with stunt performers balancing safety and spectacle. A humorous behind-the-scenes anecdote tells of a stunt double accidentally inventing a spinning move during a slip, which was then incorporated into fight choreography as the forged spin, becoming a fan favorite. Casting was dynamic and sometimes serendipitous. One supporting actor initially auditioned for a minor role, but impressed so deeply with his emotional depth and physicality that the director expanded his character's presence, enriching the story. This kind of organic growth reflects the production's openness to discovery. Weather presented challenges, particularly during outdoor shoots scheduled during the rainy season. One critical sunset scene faced a looming storm, forcing the crew to improvise. Rather than cancel, they embraced the rain, capturing the scene drenched in mist and water, which added emotional depth and a haunting beauty that surpassed the original plan. Costume designers immersed themselves in cultural research, collaborating with local artisans to create garments that balance tradition and cinematic flair. They discovered natural dyes producing iridescent effects, which became signature features in the protagonist's costume, symbolizing transformation and cultural pride. These details, while subtle on screen, enriched the film's visual storytelling. Post-production was a marathon of creativity and problem-solving. Editing involved layering visuals, sound, and music into a cohesive and emotionally compelling narrative. At one point, a critical software update corrupted several sequences, prompting a frantic recovery effort that tested the team's resilience. These late-night editing sessions were tempered with music, snacks, and humor, fostering camaraderie. Music composition blended indigenous instruments with orchestral scores, creating a soundscape that was both authentic and cinematic. Recording sessions were lively, with musicians sharing stories and improvising, infusing the score with warmth and vitality. Occasionally, spontaneous jam sessions lightened the intense atmosphere. Marketing embraced innovative strategies, launching an interactive online experience where fans could unlock hidden lore and content. Cast and crew engaged with audiences through live chats and behind-the-scenes reveals, building a passionate community. Throughout production, a spirit of mutual respect and joy prevailed. The director fostered an environment where creativity and collaboration thrived. Cast and crew shared moments of encouragement and playful pranks, weaving human connection into the fabric of the film. Years later, the film's legacy continues through educational programs and fan communities that celebrate these behind-the-scenes stories. Members of the production team participate in panels and workshops, inspiring new generations. These production insights and fun facts remind us that filmmaking is a living, breathing process, a dance of artistry, chance, and shared passion. Behind every frame lies a mosaic of laughter, struggle, discovery, and love, transforming story into cinema that lives on in the hearts of viewers. There is a profound poetry in the way a film's settings and cinematic elements come together, not as mere backdrops or technical necessities, but as living, breathing extensions of the story's very soul. This film crafts its world with meticulous care, inviting viewers not only to witness a tale, but to inhabit a realm where every stone, shadow, and shimmer holds meaning. The settings and visual language here do more than situate action. They deepen emotional resonance, illuminate themes, and shape how the narrative unfolds in the hearts and minds of the audience. The story begins in a humble village, a place of earth and sky, of rustic charm and quiet routines. This village is rendered with tactile authenticity. Weathered wooden homes nestle against rolling fields, smoke curls lazily from chimneys, and the simple rhythms of daily life pulse gently beneath the looming threat of larger forces. The setting grounds the narrative in a tangible reality, evoking a sense of place that feels both specific and universal. Here, the camera lingers on textured details, the grain of rough-hewn furniture, the worn leather of a boot, the sparkle of dew on morning grass, inviting viewers into a world rich with sensory depth. This village is more than a physical space. It is a symbol of tradition, community, and the life the protagonist seeks to protect and transcend. The natural environment around it, the fields, forests, and rivers, echoes with both beauty and tension. Trees sway with whispered secrets, waters flow with the passage of time, and open skies hint at possibility and freedom. These landscapes become characters themselves, shaping moods and mirroring internal states. As the story progresses, the setting shifts dramatically. The discovery of the beanstalk lifts the narrative from earthbound familiarity into realms of myth and grandeur. The towering stalk, with its twisting vines and verdant leaves, is a visual marvel that bridges worlds, literally and metaphorically. Its presence disrupts the pastoral calm, introducing an element of wonder and danger. The cinematography captures the beanstalk's monumental scale with sweeping wide shots that dwarf human figures, emphasizing the vastness of the unknown. At the same time, close-ups of the textured bark and delicate tendrils invite tactile intimacy. The realm above the clouds, the giant's domain, is depicted with breathtaking imagination. Here, natural elements are exaggerated and reinterpreted through a fantastical lens. Massive trees stretch beyond sight, stones the size of houses shift with the giant steps, and castles rise like ancient monoliths against swirling skies. The setting evokes both awe and menace, a place where the sublime and the terrifying coexist. Cinematographers use dramatic lighting and dynamic camera movements to immerse viewers in this otherworldly environment. Light and shadow play a vital role in defining mood throughout the film. Warm, golden tones suffuse scenes of memory, hope, and connection, sunset fields, glowing hearths, and tender moments bathed in soft light. Conversely, cool blues and muted grays dominate scenes of conflict, uncertainty, and loss, with deep shadows creating a sense of mystery and danger. The interplay of illumination and darkness is not only aesthetic but thematic, reflecting the film's exploration of dualities. Safety and threat, innocence and experience, past and future. Color palettes are thoughtfully curated to enhance storytelling. Earthy browns, greens, and ochres root the narrative in nature and tradition, while vibrant reds and golds punctuate moments of passion, power, and ritual. These colors signal shifts in tone and underscore emotional beats. The contrast between muted backgrounds and vivid accents draws the eye and heightens symbolic resonance. Texture is woven deeply into the visual fabric. The camera dwells on surfaces, rough stone walls, weathered leather, shimmering silk, that communicate history, culture, and character. This tactile attention grounds the fantastical elements in sensory reality, making the world feel lived-in and authentic. The juxtaposition of smooth and rough surfaces often parallels thematic tensions, such as between hardship and beauty, past and present. Spatial composition carries symbolic weight. Open fields and expansive skies suggest freedom, possibility, and the protagonist's longing. Enclosed spaces, homes, castles, caves, imply safety, tradition, or constraint. Thresholds such as doorways, bridges, and river crossings mark moments of transition and choice, framing character development and plot progression. These spatial cues invite viewers to interpret environment as an extension of psychological and narrative states. Natural elements recur as motifs. Fire, a symbol of transformation and destruction, is central. Flames dance in forging scenes and ritual fires illuminate moments of revelation. Water represents cleansing and passage, often accompanying scenes of emotional catharsis. Wind and storms echo upheaval and change, visually linking external forces with internal turmoil. The film's depiction of spiritual or ancestral realms introduces a distinct aesthetic. Ethereal lighting, shifting landscapes, and glowing symbols create dreamlike sequences that contrast with the grounded realism of earlier settings. These scenes evoke memory, prophecy, and cultural continuity, deepening thematic layers. Costumes and production design complement setting and mood. Garments blend traditional patterns and materials with cinematic flair, visually narrating cultural heritage and character evolution. Sets incorporate culturally significant artifacts and architectural elements, reinforcing authenticity and thematic resonance. Sound design intricately supports the visual atmosphere. Ambient noises, birdsong, flowing water, marketplace chatter, anchor scenes in place and time. Music melds traditional instruments with orchestral scoring, underscoring emotional arcs and thematic shifts. Soundscapes evolve with narrative rhythms, from pastoral calm to tense crescendo. Editing shapes pacing and emotional rhythm. Scenes alternate between lingering shots that invite reflection and rapid cuts that heighten tension. Transitions often use visual and auditory motifs to link disparate scenes, creating poetic flow and thematic coherence. Mise-en-scene balances complexity and clarity. Foreground and background elements interplay to create depth and focus, guiding viewer attention while enriching narrative texture. Symbolic objects, swords, ancestral icons, ritual implements are thoughtfully integrated, becoming extensions of character and theme. Together, these cinematic elements craft an atmosphere that is immersive and evocative. The environment becomes a silent character, shaping and reflecting the story's emotional currents. It invites viewers not merely to watch, but to feel, think, and remember. This holistic approach to setting and cinematic technique creates a film experience that lingers, inviting repeated exploration and contemplation. It reminds us that stories are lived through spaces as much as through words and action, that the world a film builds is as vital as the narrative it tells. In this way, the film transcends mere spectacle to become a sensory journey, one where light, color, texture, sound, and space converge to deepen meaning and touch the soul. It is a testament to the artistry of cinema, where every frame is a canvas and every element a brushstroke in a timeless story painted on the heart of the viewer. There's an undeniable charm and vitality that exists in the unseen corners of filmmaking, the spontaneous laughter echoing through long days of shooting, the friendships forged in moments between takes, and the unforeseen hurdles that demand quick thinking and teamwork. Behind every frame of this film lies a rich tapestry of human experience, brimming with stories that reveal not only the craft, but the heart of the production. These behind-the-scenes insights offer a window into the world where creativity meets reality, where imagination is grounded by logistics, and where every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen the collective commitment to storytelling. From the very start, the atmosphere on set was infused with a spirit of collaboration and open communication. The director fostered an environment where ideas flowed freely, encouraging cast and crew alike to contribute their unique perspectives and creative sparks. This openness nurtured a culture where improvisation was welcomed, and small moments of magic could emerge organically. It was common for actors to offer nuanced interpretations that reshaped scenes, adding layers of emotional depth that elevated the narrative. One particularly memorable story involves the lead actor, who embraced the physicality of his role with infectious enthusiasm. Though relatively new to such an intense shooting schedule, he tackled demanding stunts and emotionally charged scenes with a mix of determination and humility. During one grueling day of filming a battle sequence, a minor mishap on set turned into a source of laughter and bonding. A co-star accidentally stepped on the lead's foot during a choreographed fight, eliciting an unexpected burst of humor that diffused tension and reminded everyone of their shared humanity. Moments like these, small and unplanned, infused the production with warmth and resilience. The camaraderie among the cast extended beyond the screen. Long hours of rehearsal and shooting often ended with impromptu gatherings, shared meals, lighthearted pranks, and spirited conversations that deepened connections. The princess's actress, known for her grace and intensity on screen, was a particular favorite for her quick wit and generosity during downtime. Her rapport with fellow actors created a safe space for vulnerability, which translated into authentic performances. Such interpersonal dynamics, though invisible in the final cut, shaped the film's emotional texture. Behind the camera, technical crews faced their own unique adventures. The special effects team, tasked with creating the film's fantastical elements, often worked in tight quarters under pressure. One anecdote recounts a late-night session where a malfunctioning piece of equipment sparked a minor fire scare. The quick thinking of the crew averted disaster, and the incident became a humorous story retold with fondness, a testament to the team's professionalism under stress. Filming outdoors introduced challenges posed by weather and environment. Scheduled shoots in remote locations sometimes collided with unexpected storms, requiring rapid adaptation. On one occasion, a critical scene planned for golden hour was threatened by overcast skies. Rather than postpone, the cinematographer embraced the diffused light, crafting a moody atmosphere that enhanced the scene's emotional impact. This flexibility exemplified the crew's resourcefulness and artistic vision. Costume designers faced the intricate task of balancing historical accuracy with cinematic spectacle. They sourced rare fabrics and consulted cultural experts, striving to honor tradition while supporting narrative needs. During fittings, a local artisan's spontaneous suggestion led to the incorporation of a subtle embroidery pattern symbolizing renewal, which became a defining feature of the protagonist's attire. This collaborative spirit enriched the visual storytelling and connected the film to living cultural heritage. Voice recording sessions were moments of both intensity and levity. The director encouraged actors to explore emotional ranges freely, often resulting in takes that surprised even the performers themselves. One voice actor recalled a session where technical difficulties caused a playback loop, leading to inadvertent comedic timing that broke the tension and sparked laughter. The director's openness to these moments fostered performances that balanced precision with spontaneity. The film's music production blended traditional instruments with orchestral arrangements, creating a soundscape that was both evocative and innovative. Recording sessions became communal experiences, with musicians sharing stories behind their instruments and improvising motifs that captured narrative moods. This organic process imbued the score with authenticity and warmth. Editing presented its own hurdles. The complexity of weaving together live action, visual effects, and sound demanded meticulous coordination. At one point, a software glitch threatened to delay post-production, prompting the team to devise backup workflows and meticulous version control. These challenges tested patience, but ultimately strengthened collaboration and problem-solving skills. Marketing efforts reflected the production's innovative spirit. An interactive campaign invited fans to engage with the film's mythology through puzzles and augmented reality experiences. Cast and crew participated in live Q&A sessions and behind-the-scenes features, deepening the relationship between creators and audience. Throughout production, moments of reflection and gratitude permeated the atmosphere. The team recognized the cultural significance of their work and the trust placed in them by communities whose stories they sought to honor. This awareness fostered a shared sense of purpose and respect. Looking back, many involved describe the experience as transformative, a crucible of challenge and creativity where personal growth paralleled artistic achievement. The stories from set, both triumphant and humorous, offer a reminder that filmmaking is as much about human connection as technical skill. As viewers, knowing these behind-the-scenes tales enriches our appreciation, transforming cinematic spectacle into a living testament of collaboration, resilience, and joy. It invites us to see the art not only as an end product, but as a journey shared by many hearts and minds, woven together by passion and perseverance. There's a quiet, almost whispering power in the themes and symbols that thread through a story, elements that don't just tell us what happens but invite us to feel, think, and connect with ideas far beyond the immediate narrative. This film, while grand in its spectacle and adventure, is profoundly rich in such layers. Its themes are woven subtly yet intricately, offering a reflection on identity, power, transformation, and the interplay between human and mythic realms. Symbols emerge not as mere decorations, but as living, breathing parts of the story's soul, infusing every scene with resonance and depth. To engage with these is to enter into a dialogue that transcends the film itself, touching on universal human experiences and timeless cultural narratives. At the heart of the film lies the theme of transformation, both personal and societal. The protagonist's journey is one of growth and self-discovery, charting a path from youthful uncertainty to a mature embrace of responsibility and courage. This arc is mirrored in the symbolic forging of the sword, a motif that encapsulates the painful but necessary process of becoming. The hammers strike against the metal, the sparks that fly, and the gradual shaping of the blade evoke the shaping of identity under pressure and trial. It is an alchemical process, raw material transformed into something strong, purposeful, and imbued with meaning. This theme extends beyond the individual, encompassing the broader community and cultural legacy. The film grapples with the tension between honoring tradition and embracing change, between the past's weight and the future's possibilities. The village, the kingdom, and the ancestral realms are depicted not as static entities, but as evolving spaces, where history's shadows and hopes intermingle. This dynamic invites viewers to reflect on their own relationship to heritage and the ways in which identities are negotiated across generations. Power and its ethical use form a critical thematic strand. The sword symbolizes not only strength, but also the responsibility that accompanies authority. Throughout the story, characters wrestle with the allure and dangers of power, its capacity to protect and to destroy. The antagonist embodies a vision of justice born from grievance, challenging the protagonist and raising questions about who has the right to wield power and to what ends. This complexity avoids facile moral judgments, encouraging contemplation of justice, oppression, and reconciliation. Sacrifice emerges as a poignant theme, underscoring the costs entwined with courage and change. Characters endure loss, not just of life, but of trust, innocence, and certainty. These sacrifices deepen emotional resonance, grounding the epic narrative in human reality. The film honors sacrifice as a profound act of love and commitment, neither glorifying nor diminishing its pain. Identity, personal, cultural, and mythical, is explored through the interplay of character and symbol. The beanstalk itself is a powerful emblem of connection, bridging disparate worlds and possibilities. It is a pathway between the mundane and the magical, the known and the unknown. This liminal space reflects the film's meditation on boundaries, between childhood and adulthood, human and otherworldly, tradition and innovation. Light and shadow recur as visual and thematic motifs. Scenes awash in golden hues evoke warmth, safety, and hope, while those cloaked in darkness suggest danger, ambiguity, and inner conflict. This chiaroscuro not only shapes mood, but embodies the narrative's moral complexity, reminding us that good and evil often coexist in tension rather than opposition. Natural elements, fire, water, earth, and air, carry symbolic weight. Fire represents transformation and destruction. It is both the forge of the sword and the cleansing force of renewal. Water signifies purification and transition, marking key moments of emotional reckoning. The earth grounds characters and culture, while the wind and storms underscore upheaval and change. These elemental symbols connect human experience to the broader cycles of nature and history. Ritual and ceremony are woven throughout the narrative, anchoring characters within a cultural continuum. Scenes of communal gathering, ancestral homage, and sacred rites underscore the importance of memory, identity, and belonging. These rituals are depicted with reverence and vibrancy, affirming tradition's role in shaping and sustaining community. The film's use of color enhances thematic expression. Earth tones, browns, greens, ochres, convey rootedness and continuity, while vibrant reds and golds mark moments of power, passion, and revelation. The protagonist's costume shifts subtly to reflect growth and shifting identity, signaling internal transformation through visual means. Symbolic objects extend thematic depth. The sword is foremost, a conduit of destiny and moral agency. Ancillary artifacts, amulets, relics, ritual implements serve as tangible links to history and belief. These objects carry layered meanings, connecting character actions to larger cultural narratives. The theme of journey, physical, emotional, spiritual, is central. The protagonist's ascent of the beanstalk parallels an internal passage towards self-awareness and maturity. Thresholds and crossings mark moments of decision and change, structuring the narrative as a metaphor for growth and transformation. Relationships among characters embody and complicate themes of trust, loyalty, and identity. Bonds forged in adversity highlight resilience and hope, while betrayals expose fractures and challenges. These dynamics enrich the narrative, illustrating that community and conflict are intertwined aspects of human experience. Myth and folklore underpin much of the film's symbolism. References to ancestral stories, spiritual beliefs, and legendary figures situate the narrative within a rich cultural framework. This interweaving of myth and reality affirms storytelling's power to convey values, history, and identity. Music and sound reinforce themes and mood. Traditional instruments blend with cinematic scoring, weaving auditory motifs that evoke culture, character, and emotion. Silence punctuates moments of tension and reflection, shaping rhythm and atmosphere. Ultimately, the film's themes and symbolism coalesce into a meditation on resilience, identity, and the human quest for meaning amid change. It invites viewers to look beyond spectacle, engaging with the complexities of history, culture, and morality. This richness transforms the film from entertainment into an enduring work of art, one that speaks to the universal in the particular and invites reflection long after the credits roll. Through these layered elements, the story resonates as both a timeless myth and a deeply personal journey, a testament to the power of cinema to illuminate the heart's mysteries and the culture's soul. There's a rhythm and texture to filmmaking that often goes unnoticed beneath the surface of the story itself, a pulse made up of choices, craft, and artistry that transforms script into experience. This film is a masterclass in how filmmaking techniques shape atmosphere and invite viewers into a world that is as much felt as it is seen. From the camera's eye to the layering of sound, every technical element works in concert to deepen immersion, evoke emotion, and sculpt meaning. To trace this cinematic choreography is to uncover the invisible architecture that supports and elevates the narrative. The film opens with a visual language rooted in contrasts between the earthbound village and the mythic realm above. Cinematography plays a pivotal role in establishing this duality. The village scenes are captured with warm, natural light and a palette of earthy tones, invoking a sense of groundedness and intimacy. Wide shots reveal the expanse of fields and the closeness of community, while close-ups focus on textures, the grain of wood, the flicker of firelight, the subtle expressions of faces, inviting sensory connection. In contrast, the scenes set in the Giants' realm embrace a cooler, more surreal palette. The cinematographer employs dynamic camera movements, tracking shots that convey scale and fluidity, aerial views that highlight vastness, and dramatic shifts in focus that underscore the uncanny. Lighting shifts to incorporate stark shadows and ethereal glows, crafting an otherworldly atmosphere that blends awe with unease. This visual differentiation deepens the thematic tension between familiar and unknown, human and mythical. Camera work throughout the film is characterized by deliberate pacing and varied rhythm. Moments of stillness and contemplation are captured in lingering, steady shots that invite reflection. Action sequences employ quicker cuts, handheld cameras, and sweeping crane movements to inject urgency and energy. The use of depth of field directs viewer attention, isolating characters or immersing them within their environment. This visual rhythm mirrors narrative flow, modulating tension and release. Lighting design is integral to mood creation. Golden hour glows suffuse scenes of memory and connection, casting warmth and nostalgia. Cooler blues and desaturated hues dominate moments of conflict and uncertainty, enveloping characters in shadows that reflect internal and external turmoil. The interplay of light and shadow, chiaroscuro, is a recurring motif, reinforcing thematic contrasts and emotional complexity. Color grading enhances these visual cues. Naturalistic palettes ground the story, while selective saturation draws attention to symbolic elements, red fabrics signaling power or danger, green vines embodying growth and connection, silver gleams highlighting destiny. These chromatic choices guide emotional resonance and narrative emphasis. Texture permeates the film's aesthetic. The camera lingers on surfaces, weathered stone, braided hair, rusted metal, that evoke history and character. This tactile sensibility bridges fantastical elements and realism, grounding myth in sensory experience. The contrast between rough and smooth surfaces often parallels thematic tension. Spatial composition is thoughtfully employed. Open vistas symbolize freedom and potential. Enclosed spaces convey intimacy or constraint. Thresholds, doorways, bridges, river crossings mark transitions, both literal and symbolic. These spatial choices shape viewer perception and narrative rhythm, inviting layered interpretation. Natural elements recur symbolically. Fire, central to forging and ritual, embodies transformation, destruction, and renewal. Water marks cleansing and passage, often accompanying catharsis. Wind and storms evoke upheaval and revelation. These elements intertwine with character arcs and plot developments. Visual effects blend seamlessly with practical techniques. The towering beanstalk, shimmering sword, and ethereal spirits combine CGI, miniatures, and on-set lighting to create tactile magic. This integration preserves immersion and supports narrative authenticity. Sound design is a cornerstone of atmosphere. Ambient layers, forest sounds, market murmurs, clashing steel anchor scenes in place and mood. The team recorded on location to capture authentic textures, later weaving them with crafted effects to heighten tension or wonder. Silence is used strategically to punctuate emotional beats. The musical score fuses indigenous instruments with orchestral arrangements, reflecting cultural roots and cinematic grandeur. Themes associate with characters and ideas, evolving alongside the narrative. Recording sessions embraced improvisation, infusing the music with vitality and warmth. Editing shapes pace and emotional flow. The narrative balances quiet reflection with dynamic action, using cuts to sustain engagement and underscore themes. Transitions often employ visual or auditory motifs, linking scenes thematically rather than chronologically, creating poetic rhythm. Dialogue and sound mixing maintain clarity while preserving ambient authenticity. Emotional nuance is conveyed through tone and cadence, with moments of silence enhancing tension and resonance. Box office production reflected the film's ambition and cultural significance. It opened strongly domestically, bolstered by critical acclaim and audience enthusiasm, before reaching wider markets drawn to its universal themes and rich aesthetics. Marketing combined traditional campaigns with innovative digital engagement, deepening audience connection. Financial success challenged industry assumptions about the marketability of culturally specific narratives, sparking conversations on representation and storytelling diversity. Ultimately, the film's filmmaking techniques, camera, lighting, sound, editing, effects, are integral storytellers. They craft a sensory and emotional journey that immerses viewers, evokes empathy, and deepens thematic impact. This cinematic language transforms the film from mere spectacle into a living, breathing world that stays with the audience. Exploring these techniques reveals the artistry behind the magic, underscoring cinema's unique ability to blend technology and humanity in the service of story, a dance of light and sound that invites us to see, feel, and understand anew. There's an often unseen dance beneath the surface of every film, a symphony of decisions, technologies, and creative intuitions that converge to shape not only what we see but how we feel. In this film, the artistry of filmmaking techniques is not just a technical feat. It is a powerful storyteller in its own right, weaving atmosphere, emotion, and meaning into every frame. To understand how this film resonates so deeply, we must step behind the curtain and explore the craft that brought its world and characters to vivid life. From the precision of camera work to the layering of sound, the rhythm of editing, and the visionary integration of visual effects. The cinematography sets the tone from the very beginning, establishing a visual language that bridges the familiar with the fantastic. Early scenes ground us in a rustic village, captured with warm, natural light that bathes the earth-tone palette in a golden glow. The camera's gaze is intimate and tactile, lingering on textures, the cracked bark of trees, the coarse weave of fabrics, the flicker of candlelight, inviting the viewer into a sensory experience that feels lived in and authentic. Wide shots showcase the open fields and sprawling skies, evoking a sense of both comfort and possibility, while close-ups draw us into the characters' emotional landscapes. As the narrative ascends into the giant's realm, the cinematography shifts dramatically. Sweeping aerial shots reveal vast, otherworldly landscapes, colossal trees that seem to touch the heavens, and immense stone castles whose shadowed halls hint at mystery and danger. Here the camera embraces movement, tracking, crane, and dolly shots that convey scale and immersion, while contrasting lighting schemes bathe the scenes in cooler, more surreal hues. This visual dichotomy between the grounded village and the ethereal giant world creates a tension that mirrors the story's thematic contrasts of known versus unknown, human versus mythical. Lighting design is a crucial architect of mood throughout the film. The warm ambers and ochres of the village scenes evoke nostalgia, safety, and tradition, while sharp contrasts and deep shadows in the giant's domain convey threat, otherness, and uncertainty. Scenes of intimacy are often suffused with soft, diffused light, creating a sense of vulnerability and connection. The filmmakers play with chiaroscuro, light and dark, to underscore moral ambiguity and emotional complexity, reminding viewers that the story lives in shades rather than absolutes. Color grading enhances these choices, using palettes that reflect character and theme. Earth tones ground the story's cultural specificity, while strategic bursts of color, fiery reds, shimmering golds, deep greens, signal moments of power, revelation, or transformation. The protagonist's evolving costume and surroundings subtly shift chromatically as his journey progresses, visually narrating his internal growth and shifting status. Texture is meticulously rendered through the lens. The camera lingers on surfaces, weathered stone, braided hair, hammered metal, that evoke history, culture, and character. This tactile attention grounds the film's fantasy elements in sensory reality, making the mythic tangible and emotionally accessible. The interplay of rough and smooth textures often parallels narrative themes, struggle and grace, past and future. Spatial composition carries symbolic meaning. Open landscapes suggest freedom and potential, while enclosed spaces, homes, temples, caves, imply safety, tradition, or constraint. Doorways, bridges, and river crossings mark thresholds of change and decision, visually framing character arcs and plot transitions. This spatial storytelling invites viewers to read setting as emotional landscape. Natural elements are woven deeply into the visual fabric. Fire, central to forging and ritual, is portrayed as both destructive and transformative, its flickering flames a metaphor for trial and renewal. Water signifies cleansing, passage, and emotional catharsis, recurring in scenes of reckoning and rebirth. Wind and storms evoke upheaval, aligning environmental forces with narrative tension. The integration of visual effects is both ambitious and delicate. The towering beanstalk, ethereal spirits, and colossal giants blend CGI with practical effects and miniatures, preserving immersion and enhancing tactile reality. Visual effects artists balance spectacle with subtlety, ensuring that magic felt grounded and characters remained emotionally accessible. Sound design is a foundational element of atmosphere and immersion. The soundscape combines authentic field recordings, forest ambience, market chatter, clashing steel, with crafted effects that heighten tension, wonder, and emotion. Silence is employed strategically, punctuating moments of reflection or suspense to amplify impact. The layering of diegetic and non-diegetic sounds creates a rich auditory tapestry that deepens engagement. The musical score fuses indigenous instruments with orchestral composition, reflecting the film's cultural roots and cinematic scope. Recurring motifs associate with characters and themes, evolving to mirror narrative progression. Recording sessions embraced improvisation and collaboration, imbuing the music with warmth and authenticity. Editing shapes the film's rhythm, balancing contemplative sequences with dynamic action. Cuts are timed to sustain tension, underscore thematic beats, and guide emotional flow. Transitions often employ visual or auditory motifs that link scenes thematically rather than strictly narratively, creating poetic resonance. Dialogue delivery and sound mixing prioritize clarity while preserving ambient realism. Emotional nuance is conveyed through tone, cadence, and silence, enriching characterization and mood. Box office production reflected the film's ambition and cultural significance. Opening with strong domestic reception, bolstered by critical acclaim and audience enthusiasm, the film expanded internationally, attracting viewers drawn to its universal themes and visual grandeur. Marketing combined traditional campaigns with digital innovation, interactive experiences, social media engagement, and fan events that deepened connection. Financially, the film challenged industry assumptions about the marketability of culturally specific narratives, sparking conversations on representation and storytelling diversity. Its success demonstrated that authentic stories rooted in culture and myth could resonate globally. Ultimately, the film's filmmaking techniques, cinematography, lighting, sound, editing, visual effects are integral storytellers. They weave a sensory and emotional journey that immerses viewers, evokes empathy, and amplifies thematic depth. This cinematic language transforms the film from spectacle into a living world, inviting audiences to see, feel, and reflect anew. Exploring these techniques reveals the artistry behind the magic, underscoring cinema's unique capacity to blend technology and humanity in the service of storytelling, a dance of light and sound that invites us not merely to watch, but to experience and understand. There's a certain stillness that settles over us when a story's journey comes to an end, a gentle invitation not just to close the book or turn off the screen, but to linger in the echoes of what we have witnessed and felt. This exploration has been one such journey, unfolding layer by layer through the intricate world of a film that dances gracefully between myth and humanity. We began by stepping into a realm where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where a young man's yearning pulled him beyond familiar horizons into a landscape, both magical and fraught with peril. We unraveled the rich tapestry of the plot, the climb up the towering beanstalk, the encounters with giants who were more than mere monsters, the political intrigues woven through castle halls, and the battles that tested courage and conviction. These narrative beats did more than entertain. They served as vessels carrying deeper themes of transformation, power, sacrifice, and identity. Our journey through character revealed figures of nuance and depth, the hesitant hero shaped by loss and hope, the princess whose strength defies convention, the antagonist whose motivations challenge black and white morality. Through their relationships and struggles, the film offered reflections on loyalty, justice, and the complexities of human and otherworldly nature. We delved into the film's symbolic heart, where sword and beanstalk, fire and water, light and shadow became languages of meaning. These symbols spoke of forging identity, bridging worlds, and navigating the delicate balance between tradition and change. Themes of resilience and cultural memory threaded through every scene, inviting contemplation beyond the surface spectacle. Behind the scenes, we uncovered a vibrant mosaic of creativity and collaboration, stories of invention and adaptation, laughter amid challenges, and the human spirit at work transforming vision into reality. The technical artistry, the choreography of camera, light, sound, and editing, crafted a sensory and emotional journey that made the fantastical tangible and the mythical deeply personal. Audience reactions and critical perspectives reflected the film's resonance, revealing a story that invites reflection and dialogue, fostering community and connection through shared experience. The film stands not only as entertainment, but as a cultural and artistic milestone, one that honors heritage while embracing innovation. As we close this chapter, I invite you to carry these insights with you, to revisit the film with fresh eyes and a deeper heart. Let the themes linger, the symbols whisper, and the characters' journeys inspire. This is the power of cinema, to transport, to challenge, and to illuminate aspects of ourselves and the world we inhabit. If this exploration has moved or inspired you, I warmly encourage you to subscribe and join our growing community of thoughtful film lovers. Here, we dive beneath the surface, seeking meaning, context, and connection in the stories that shape us. Together, we'll continue to explore cinema's vast landscapes, uncovering hidden treasures and sparking conversations that enrich our understanding and appreciation. Thank you for sharing this journey. Until next time, keep watching closely, thinking deeply, and feeling freely, because the most profound stories live on in us, shaping how we see and live our own.